Higher education, we all know, I think, in general, right, is a key industry and driver of the economy, both nationally but specifically in Massachusetts. I mean, we are a knowledge economy, and we're the engines for that. Our biggest export, really, to the United States are the brains we develop at our individual institutions. It is what Massachusetts is known for. We've got a lot of private institutions in Massachusetts of all differing sizes and missions and all sorts of things. And we also have a robust public institution group here. But we don't necessarily have, like some of the Midwestern states, what I would call mega public institutions. There isn't a University of Michigan, in Massachusetts, where the majority of high school graduates end up going. So in the public and private across the board, 6.5% of our students are going to places that charge $45,000 or more per year. So these are two real colleges, and this is the pie that makes up their operating expenses. And what I think this illustrates more than anything is colleges and their finances can be very, very different. They may be doing even similar things or delivering similar courses or majors, but all of this is really very different. Operating revenue. But I think what you can see is you can actually see a college here, College A, being able to weather a little bit of an enrollment storm a lot better than College B can. Any little fluctuation for College B and they go into serious trouble. They probably are also a little more sticker sensitive. So any little uptick in their tuition and fee rates probably has a ripple effect as far as their enrollment is concerned. And if you were to look at places like Ohio State, Michigan, large institutions, you actually see real increases in their overall tuition and fee rates at a pretty good clip. You actually will see that in northern New England with UNH, UVM, and UMaine. UNH, for example, only 6% of their revenue comes from the state of New Hampshire. So that's kind of a big deal. And what that is they push that off on tuition and fees, as you've seen the rates go up. And also, if they can grab it, research then becomes a bigger part of the portfolio, which then takes, if research becomes a bigger part of your portfolio, if you're a research level institution, you have to then look at quality and are you supporting students in the classroom properly? Because you got to take them out to do research to make the money to do it. It's a vicious circle. We'll talk a little bit about that. This just talks about income declining, okay? So we've had some pretty good years in the 80s and 90s. And then when we hit the 2000s, we hit the skids. I think we all sort of probably have experienced our own personal moment in that. And really in that post-2008 period, everything changed. The economics of higher education, the map that we were all following, completely went. And we weren't helped by the lack of real growth in income during that period of time. So controlling the cost through federal, state, and institutional aid, $803 million worth of aid pumping through the private institutions in Massachusetts. Institutional aid is 70% of that number. And that is aid, grant aid, created by the institution, and I do it at MassArt, where a percentage of the tuition and fee revenues or endowment or annual fund is being set aside to fund, and this gets in the discount rate war, a student's ability to come. It's a very, very difficult thing that we've all struggled, and I don't think anybody has an answer of how to actually maintain any of that or to balance any of those things. And I get more, I don't know other people, but I'm imagining so. I have gotten more in the last couple of years of people calling my office and asking for more scholarship money, asking for increases in their packages. I used to only get 2 or 3 a year. I'm getting a lot more than that. I'm getting 10, 20 of them coming through the door. Talking to a parent about this, I sometimes feel like I'm selling a car instead of an opportunity for 4 years of education. There's more of an integrated approach with NEASC now. And there used to be separate standards for these things, and now it's all in one. And the idea of bringing it into Standard 7 completely is saying that all three of these categories have to be looked at together. The integration of them. And that's what makes this conversation today even more important, because it takes everybody on campus and the coordination of everyone on campus to actually answer what NEASC is asking us to do. So, a couple of things that they're asking. It is more and more really a mission-based question. Are you fulfilling the mission? How are you fulfilling the mission? And do you have the ability to create a longevity in that? Are you able, when we come back 10 years later, are you guys going to still be in good shape? So when they're writing their response, they're thinking to themselves, does the institution, is it thriving? Is it stable? Not just today, but when they come back in 10 years. So there has to be this integrated process. Again, is the dialogue about financial stability, human resources, information and technology and physical stuff, is that a conversation that goes beyond the vice presidents and the president? Is there an integrated process, a conversation happening on your campus that goes all the way down into the staff and the faculty? Are people aware of the strategic plan? Do they know what the strategic plan is, what the goals of the institution are? And it needs to go beyond the boardroom, it needs to go beyond the senior staff. And they ask those questions when they're on campus.